I'm going to tell you the backdoor way to getting high limit business credit cards with your EIN only. Now, please understand, when I say EIN only, that means that you have to have something that they can base it off of. If they're not focused on the credit score, then they have to be focused on the revenue in the business. You have to show revenue in the business. It's not just you go form a company or buy a chef corporation because it's an A chef corporation, they're going to give you funding. It doesn't work like that, okay? You have to have revenue in the business. I'm going to tell you some of the easiest ones that you should be able to get approved for. Now, there's something that's happening that a lot of people are not aware of, and that's people that have chef corporations or you have invested in a virtual address, all right? These two things can get you denied, and I'm going to tell you why. One is because that virtual address that you're using, it may have been used prior to someone else, and that someone else may have gotten funding from the major banks. So when they got the funding from the major banks, even if they dissolved the company, they never dissolved the debt, satisfied the debt. Okay, so then you come along and you say, oh, that's a great address, let me use that address, right? So you use that address, right? Now, when you try to apply for a credit card with a major bank or a credit union or something like that, they may end up flagging that address, okay? It has nothing to do with your credit score. It has nothing to do with your NAICS code. It's all in a matter of that basic address that will keep you from getting funding, all right? I just want to put it out there. If you have more questions, click the link in the description, schedule a one-on-one. Now, talking about some of these credit cards so you understand. Capital on Tap. Again, it's a great credit card, especially when you just really want to focus on the EIN and you have good revenue. The catch-22 is, whatever you put on that application, do not be surprised if Capital on Tap comes back and says, hey, do you mind sending us some of your invoices for your business? Or they may say, do you mind allowing us to see your business taxes? Okay? So if you cannot produce those, then you will get denied. Or better yet, what's going to happen after they approve you and you can't produce those, then they'll lock up your card. Okay? And it has happened to plenty of people. Now, these business credit cards I'm talking about, these are not traditional. These are mostly going to be your fintech companies, okay? They focus only on the operation of the business. So that's the reason why these here are going to be your easiest type of business credit cards for high limits, all right? Then you have Intuit, okay? Intuit has a business credit card, all right? It's through WebBank. Again, it's based off of the revenue in the business, okay? It ain't focused on your credit. It's all focused on the business, all right? So that's the second one. The third one is Flex Card, okay? So with the Flex Card, it's like a flex line, right? So you use the card and then it gives you a certain amount of time to pay that segment off, okay? So they give you $10,000 and you use $2,000 of it, almost like a revolving line of credit, okay? However, this here revolving line of credit, they may not charge you any interest long as you pay it off in a certain amount of time. So that's the reason why this can be a good card for you. Now, you have Fairfigure, okay? So with Fairfigure, all you have to do is be making a minimum revenue of $2,500 a month. And you have to have a registered business. All right. Now, this is something that's big because a lot of people that are sole proprietors or just making money and putting it in their pocket instead of having a registered business, this is the reason why. I continue to tell you, you're leaving money on the table. You're missing out on opportunities because in your mind, by me not reporting this, I don't have to deal with the IRS, right? Cool. At the same time, depending on the amount, don't forget that if you're getting that money and it's paid to PayPal and it's a certain amount, they're going to report it to the IRS. If it's going through your bank account and you're sole prop, guess what? They can report it to the IRS. So you still are not going to get away from reporting your revenue to the IRS. So the best thing for you to do is actually just register your business. Because if you register your business the proper way, again, not only will companies loan you money off the operation of the business, at the same time, you'll be able to build up a relationship with other financial institutions to get access to more capital when you need it. So that's the reason why I continue to tell you, if you need help, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation for that. But you're missing out on a lot of money because you're just operating as a sole proprietor. Then the next card we're talking about is A to B gas card, okay? And so with A to B gas card, again, it's mostly like if you're doing a lot of traveling, because they have one on the personal side, then they have one on the business side. But either way, it's consumer side, but either way, it's not going to report, okay? It's EIN only, all right? So that's the great part about it. Then another card is the Shell gas card, okay? That's an easy card to get. That's a very easy card to get. Now, let me back up because something that I know a lot of people is on their mind when I was telling you about trying the address. Okay, here's another thing. In terms of knowing that when you registered your business, how did you register that business with the Secretary of State as well as with the IRS? All right. Now, we know that Dun & Bradstreet, they'll try to sell you a program to add trade lines and stuff. But at the same time, remember that Dun & Bradstreet, whatever address that you have, they will actually mix your business information up with an existing company, okay? So if there was a company prior to yours that had that address, some of their profile can end up mixed up with yours, okay? And I'm not just saying it with Dun & Bradstreet. The other credit bureaus may end up mixing it up as well. So not just Dun & Bradstreet themselves. So you have these different companies that are registered. They are your registered agent and stuff like that. And they may be using a virtual address. Again, you may not even be knowing. You just had them use it as a registered agent. But again, when they use that virtual address, again, the problem is you will be the one that's penalized. So you got to check it. And I'll tell you 2 cards you can actually check it to see if you're flagged. All right. One of them is the Capital One Spark Classic. All you need is a 580 credit score for that card, okay? And you put your business address on that application. Now, here's the thing about it with Capital One. Normally, they're going to still look at your personal credit. And so they're matching that personal credit address up with that. They're matching the application from your personal credit with that business credit card, okay? And so when they do that, like I said, you can put your business address on it. If that's where it's a business credit card, you can put your business address and see if they'll give you the card. Again, all you need is a 580 credit score for that. And then there's another card. This here card is called Arvina, EARIVA, right? So with this here, with this Arvina card, Neva, excuse me, MasterCard, what it does, it's a MasterCard that gives you a $700 line of credit. But at the same time, if you want to see if your credit file, your business credit file is actually active or whatever, try to apply for that card and see if you get approved, okay? So that way you would actually know All right. If you have any question about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the credit, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.